Welcome to So Many Whatnots. I'm Willow and I'm a quilter from South Central Pennsylvania. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So glad to see everybody. It's been a long break. Goodness, we were away for 2 weeks. So yeah, not much has happened actually. We had a pretty low-key Christmas and New Year's and spent it with family. So I hope everybody had a good Christmas this year and a good New Year's. So yeah, that's all. We didn't do much. Like I said, we hung out with family. As far as quilting goes, I finished my Georgetown quilt in time for it to go to my boys' aunt and uncle for their Christmas. And then I took a few days off from quilting because I needed a break. And then I started on my niece's quilt. Yes, it was for my niece, the Saltwater Sampler. And I was able to finish that at the last minute. I finished quilting that on New Year's Eve. And I put the tag on it New Year's Day. And then we saw them at my parents' house that afternoon. So literally right up to the last minute. But I was able to get some pictures of it New Year's morning before we went. So yeah, that was intense. I really didn't think I was going to get it finished. It was, and I didn't do like the traditional small stitch quilting. I did big stitch quilting, which I typically don't do a lot of because I like sitting with my hoop and doing traditional small stitch quilting. But it was really nice. It turned out so nice. And I think the big stitch quilting just fit it perfectly because the blocks were so big. They were like 18-inch blocks. And so I think small stitch quilting just wouldn't have looked all that great. So the big stitch actually turned out really nice. And I will pop a picture, and I don't have video of that. So just a picture of the finished quilt. And I'm actually not sure if I took good pictures of the quilting. I'll have to look when I go to edit and see if I have some. And if I do, I will show that. So yeah, I finished that. So I guess we're starting with a finish. Let me see. I have a few notes on it, so we'll just talk about it now. We'll go a little out of order today. Okay, so Saltwater Sampler, featuring Laguna Sunrise, and that I machine pieced. I hand quilted with big stitch. Oh, and I used 12 weight Aurifil white thread. So the back of the quilt is, I don't think I have a picture of it. But I do have some scrap fabric. So this is what the back of the quilt looked like. And so the quilting it blends in really nicely. Because it's not like a specific design. You know, I just did outlining on all the blocks. In all the white spaces, I did outline quilting. So yeah, it just turned out really nice. And I'm actually really proud of that one because I got it done in like a week. I think it took me like 6 days total. It took me not quite a day to baste it, and I pin basted this one because I I was in a hurry. I needed to get it done in time. So I just pin basted it. And I did this one exclusively at my dining room table. I just, because I used pins and didn't use as many as normal, I wanted to make sure it kind of stayed, you know, together real nice. So I did it at my table. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, okay, well, that's all I got. So I am just, oh yeah, I was going through how long it took. Okay, so I didn't write it down, but it was about one day, like half a day to baste, and then I started quilting it that same day. I think it took me 3 days to get half of it done because I started, like I did a half day. And then I want to say it took 2.5 more days to do the other half. And then I spent a whole day binding it. Yeah. And then, yeah, because I bind by hand. Like I use my machine to put the binding on and I fold it over and I hand tack it. So that took like a whole day because I had to cut the binding, sew it together, iron it, you know, sew it on and then stitch it down. Yeah, so what is that, like 6 days, I think? 5 or 6 days. That is really fast, even for big stitch quilting. That's just fast. I would like to not ever do what I did this Christmas ever again. That was a lot of quilting in a very short period of time. Guys, what was I thinking? Seriously, the quilts are gorgeous. I love them. The recipients really like them. But no, let's start these projects earlier, okay? My biggest takeaway from this is don't start Christmas quilts right before Christmas. Yeah, so there's that. So I have an idea of the next quilts I want to do for gifts, but they're kind of going to be dependent on something else I have going on that I don't have information on quite yet, but should be coming this month. So that's another little tidbit for you. Something else really super exciting is going to be happening. Okay, so what next? Okay, let's see. I gotta check things off my list because the kids went back to school this morning. And so for 2 weeks, we've been staying up late, sleeping in. And then this morning I had to get up at 5:45. And that was not pleasant. And yeah, so my youngest, his bus comes at 6:30. My oldest has a late start, so he doesn't even go in, he doesn't leave till like 8:15, which is kind of great for, you know, teenagers because they need sleep. The two things teenagers need is a lot of food and a lot of sleep, especially when they're athletes. So the late start's been really great, but I still have to get up super early. And coming off of 2 weeks, oh, those poor teachers are going to have a lot of tired kids today, probably tomorrow. So I am so tired today. I'm probably not going to do much other than edit this video and do some sewing, and I am totally off track of how I went off down this rabbit trail of school being back in session. So, okay. Oh, all right. So back to the beginning, which is updates. And this might be a shorter video just because, like I said, all I I didn't do a lot of anything except quilt. And then I took a few days off after New Year's to just let my hands rest and just exist. Okay, so updates. So the farmer's wife that I am going to be doing this year, all by hand. Let me get the book quick. Farmer's wife, yay. Is anyone tired of me talking about this yet? I'm just so excited to start this quilt. There's the back. If you're new here, I am going to be making this quilt, and I'm going to be making a video basically on how to put together all the blocks. So it's kind of a quilt along, but it's also kind of not a quilt along because, you know, this is like a personal goal of mine, but I'm sharing it with all of you also. So like, if you want to sew along with me, yay, that would be so much fun. So definitely if you want to sew along with me, I'm going to release videos starting on Wednesdays. Okay, so here is the plan for the farmer's wife. The prep video will be the first video on the 7th, and I have mentioned that a few times. So this Wednesday will be the prep video, and that will just be my way of prepping for this. I'm calling it a sew along or quilt along. But you know, I might take a week off here or there because I'm sewing this all by hand because I love hand sewing. The difference is I will be doing videos, so I will be doing this all at my desk. Okay, anyways. So I will have the prep video on January 7th. Make sure that date's right. Okay, it is. And then after that, the following week, which is the 14th. On the 14th, I will have the first block video. Now, I would like to try to do 3 blocks per week. But again, some weeks might only be 1 because there are some that have like 60 pieces in a tiny 6-inch block. Okay, so that one might take, you know, an entire day to make. Whereas there is a simple 9 patch at one point, which will, you know, with tracing and cutting and sewing by hand, you know, a couple hours. So some weeks there might be 1 video, some 2, some 3. I will try to always have a video Wednesday. And then if there's 3 that week, I'll probably do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so I won't put all 3 videos up on the same day, most likely. Now, I am going to be doing these about a week in advance, just so I have time to edit. My son would like to do some editing, and so he can really only do that on weekends with, you know, homework and school. And then if he decides he doesn't want to do it, then, you know, I'll have to do it. Which is fine either way. I think he just really wants to like help with the channel and stuff. But he's not into sewing. He's more like computer type stuff. So, and so I want to give him the opportunity also to, you know, edit if he wants to. So I will be making them about a week in advance. So if you're doing the sew along or quilt along with me, if you're going to make the quilt with me, just know I'm a week ahead of you. And you don't have to do like, you don't have to like do it with me like in the order I'm doing it. Okay, I am just doing this to help people who might not know, you know, more of the basics type stuff. Which, you know, I'm looking at some of these blocks in here and going, oh my gosh, how am I going to teach someone to make this? Because, wow, That's tough. Um, but the book does give you like all the instructions. I mean, kind of. Okay. The book doesn't give you the instructions. Let me get my brain straight here. The book gives you like a letter and a picture. And then in the back, it gives you a diagram of how many pieces to cut and like how to put it together. Okay. But in order to like get the templates or there's like, you can hand piece this, you can foundation paper piece, you could English paper piece, you could use your machine. I mean, and just like traditionally piece it with a machine. So there's a website in this book where you can go and print off all the stuff, and that'll, you know, obviously I'm not going to share the website because, you know, copyright and stuff, and you really do need the book. And it's a good read too. It is a good read. I'm kind of a book junkie. I read a lot of books. So that's like my other hobby, reading. I love reading. So yeah, the stories, the letters in it are really good. I lost my train of thought again because I got like 6 hours of sleep and I don't function on less than 8. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay, so okay, guys. Wow. It's one of those mornings. Welcome back from vacation, right? Okay, well, I'm going to move on anyway. I'll talk a little bit more about the farmer's wife in a little bit. But basically, Wednesdays. Look for videos Wednesdays. And they'll be pre-recorded. So, I mean, like, technically my Monday videos are pre-recorded. I mean, I'm not doing this live, but it is 10:24 Monday morning. And so I'll yap on about fabric and stuff for 45 to an hour. And then I'll take a couple hours to edit and you'll see it the same day. So I'm yapping again. Okay, so, progress. I did make some progress on the farmer's wife that I said I was going to talk about later. Hey, it's later. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So the prep work I did on the farmer's wife, since we're clearly still talking about it, was just cutting out templates. So I literally, well, you'll see on the video Wednesday how I'm doing my templates. But basically I just cut a ton of them out. So I have the first 50 blocks prepped and ready to go. I'm sorry, the templates for the first 50 blocks, cut, ready to go, and organized. So, about halfway through, I'll take like a week or two off to do the second set of prep work. Okay, moving on. I did a teeny tiny little bit on my 9 patch. Oh, and this is the teeny tiny little 9 patch quilt. Need to move some stuff here real quick and sunshine. I love this. This is my tea mug, but it's for coffee today. I have been using this one for coffee lately. Okay, so my 9 patch I have just in a little sewing bin. And I have some squares cut out from the leftover Bearpaw fabric, like some of the scraps. So I have those. And I have them paired up with the the light colors. So that mustard probably could have been a light, maybe. Well, anyways, so I did that. And then I also did it for the Laguna Sunrise ones, but I didn't necessarily pair them up with their own fabrics. So like I have this one paired up with some Riley Blake from Lattice that I'm making, which the background fabric for my Lattice quilt is a Riley Blake, a Lori Holt print, even though it's not the fabric line for the actual quilt. Okay, and then like this one is Laguna Sunrise, and I paired it with sandalwood. Is it sandalwood? Is that what I used for the Georgetown quilt? Oh my goodness, my brain. Yeah, so, you know, I just did some pairings. I'm not sure if that'll, yeah, it'll be fine. Anyways, and then I sewed a few together. I know there's a much easier way to do this, to make 9 patches than sewing them each individually and then sewing them together again and again. But I really enjoyed cutting out all these little teeny tiny 1.5 inch squares. So let's see here. So, you know, I could have cut like strips and then done the whole flippy flip thing or whatever, you know, to, nope, I'm doing it this way. Okay, so I did just like do a few of these, not many, hardly at all, hardly any at all. So yeah, I think these I did not do like this little stack of finished 9 patches. I did not do these this week. This is just like to show you what it is. But I haven't ironed them yet, so that's why they're still in here. I do have some that have been ironed. See, like that one, I used the yellow as a light, and there's, I mean, obviously, but there's some mustard in there, you know, like a darker, hey, another one where I used the color as a light, something that wasn't, oh, like this one too, you know. And then just like these are just the normal white cream. Most of these are creams, whites. Yeah, so I'm excited to keep this going. I have no idea how many I need. I know I showed this project in like my second video, so this is just kind of if I have a couple minutes and not long and I want to sew something and I don't know what to sew, I'll grab like this, or I have this basket back here that has like my hexagons in it, but this is so portable. So I have that. Okay. My Lattice quilt, I did not bring upstairs today. I just did, maybe, well, I know I did at least a small bit. I don't know how big those squares are. Maybe 6, are they 6 inch and 12 inch or, anyways, I don't know. So I did a very tiny little bit of hand quilting on that. And I am doing a traditional small stitch outlining on that one. So I didn't do too much on it, but I have no deadlines, guys. I'm so excited. I have no deadlines. I can just pick it up and quilt it whenever I want. So I know I said in a previous video that my next quilt on the wall would probably be Bearpaw, but it's probably going to be Lattice, because by the time I finish piecing Bearpaw and quilting it, Yeah, yeah, it'll be a while. So maybe Lattice will be up there in the next month or two. I'm just taking my time. I am in no hurry. It's if I feel like doing it, I will. And if I don't, I won't. Let's see. 9-patch, Lattice, Farmer's Wife. Oh, and the other thing I worked on was Bearpaw. So I have Bearpaw back here. And I have showed these blocks before many times because there was the big Bearpaw debate on what to do with these, whether to make it all scrappy, all the same. Yeah. Anyways, so excited. So I have about half of them finished, just under half. And I did, let's see here. Okay. Here's my stack of blocks I have to make still. And these are just the half square triangles. And so I have all these sewed together, which is 7. And then I'm working on this one, which I think I only got one of those done. And I did that this morning. Okay, so what did I say? 7, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7. That's 6. And I have one more in here. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, hey, cool. So yeah, I'm about halfway through the half square triangles for that. And again, no deadline, but this sits my couch basket. So this sits on the couch, and it has, let's see, this is for quilting Lattice. This is for cathedral windows. I have my Bearpaw thread in my little case. Gosh, I love these little cases. My headphones, obviously, because it gets loud. And then I just have all the Bearpaw pieces here. Let's see. And then I also have the rest of the pieces for the blocks in a bag here. Mostly because cats and dogs and hairy creatures that live in my house. I keep a lot of stuff in bags. Okay, so I have those. And so that's really cool that I'm making a lot of progress. It would be really cool to get all the blocks finished. And then I have to figure out how to put them together. And I do have fabric for that. I think I have, oh yeah, but I wasn't sure if I was going to use it or not. Let me grab it quick. If I can find it. Where did I put it? Here it is. Yeah, okay, so the sashing, I was going to use these, which are just, you know, the same prints, but in this greenish grayish color. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I think what I'll do is I will lay it out. I don't have a design board. I don't really have a room for one. Like maybe in my bedroom I could, on a wall. But yeah, I just don't really have the space for a design board. So usually what I do is I lay everything out on my bed. And if it's too big, then I sweep my floor really good and I put my dogs in my bedroom. And I just hope the cats don't get all over it, and I lay it out on like my living room floor. So I try not to do that because of all my critters. But you know, you do what you can and you work with what you have. And I do not really have a wall that I can dedicate to a design board. So maybe someday. Let's see where we're at on time. Okay. Yeah, so honestly, that's like all I have. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, acquisitions. Okay. This is why I'm coming back to the Farmer's Wife quilt, because I know I got a package. I know I mentioned I got a package or had one coming on the last video, because I seem to always get them on Mondays, but I don't remember what I got. I did so much shopping during the sales. I can't remember what I got, except for, oh, this is my Farmer's Wife basket. And there are some new fabrics in it. And I'm not sure if they really go well, because they're super, super bright. Because like all of these are bright, but it is this little section right here. Let's see if I can put this up here so you guys can see, like, I think I'll be able to use them, but they kind of just have a little different vibe to them. And they're just a little brighter. But I think they'll still work. I'm not sure. If you have opinions, I always love to hear your opinions. I actually do need to go through and respond to a bunch of comments from my break, because I pretty much didn't like respond to anything over my little 2-week break. Yeah, so I don't know. The greens look a little fluorescent to me, and then these are really not. So yeah, let me know what you think. They may or may not make it in the quilt, but they are in here. And I did get 10-inch squares. So these are all jelly rolls. I think there's 2 or 3 jelly rolls in there. I don't even remember. And then these are fat quarters of the solids. I think Bella solids maybe. And then I have 10-inch squares of, goodness, I can't remember what the line's called. Is it 30s Playtime, maybe? And then these. And honestly, I can't remember what those are called now. No. I think it's merry-go-round. Is it merry-go-round? My hair is getting caught in the basket. Okay. So I did get something. I just can't remember what I got other than these. And I don't know. They're cute. I just don't know if they really fit in, but I mean, they are definitely like, have the 30s vibes. I'm going to go through them real quick. Get my coffee out of the way so I don't get a ton of. So, I mean, they have the vibe. I really like this one. See, and I think that one definitely fits in. This one, not so much. Totally different color than anything. I really think like this would fit in. This would fit. These yellows probably wouldn't fit. They're very lemony. This one might. I mean, it's a totally different color than any of the other yellows, but I just kind of feel like it might. And then the greens are very bright. They're just so super, like that one, I don't see it fitting. None of these greens really. There's that one. They're so pretty. I really do like them. But they're minty. They're so minty. And none of my other ones are minty, but we'll see. Let's see here. This one would probably fit in. Not so sure about this one. It looks the same as the other one, but not quite. The blues, this one would fit for sure. Not so much this one. And then these two probably would. So it's mainly just these greens and, well, I'd say like half of them fit, half don't. So, but they're really cool. I really like these. So we'll see what happens. And you know what? If I make a block and I don't like it, I have enough fabric here that I could just take it apart and, you know, replace the pieces I don't like. So we'll see what happens, you know. It's a scrap quilt and, okay, it's not a scrap quilt because these are not scraps. I bought these specifically for it, but it's a scrappy style quilt. We'll put it like that, scrappy style. All right, so, and then I'll just show you real quick what I did. So I have all these. Okay, these are the first 3 weeks. So this is January. And then I have week 1, week 2, and week 3. Potentially. Because like I said, there might be a week where I only do 1. But I tried to do like an easier one, a more like medium one, maybe a little more difficult one. You know, I don't want to do all the easy ones in the first month and then save all the ones with like 60 pieces until the last week because I would never finish it. Also, I think if people are doing it along with me, you know, maybe you want some variety. I know I want variety, so that's how I'm going to do it. So, wow, I feel like this was like the farmer's wife video, but you know, like I said, all I did was work on my niece's quilt and just a couple other small projects. I did a lot of reading. And yeah, so this week my focus is getting the farmer's wife started with the prep video and doing the first 3, probably 3 blocks. I'd like to get those recorded by the weekend. And then I would like to take a day and try to get the rest of my son's puff quilt squares finished. Not the quilt, but just the squares. And I'm not going to get it out. It's under stuff. But I have maybe a couple hours of work to do on that, so it's not long. And then I'll have all the squares finished. And then once I get the farmer's wife quilt underway and have like a groove, you know, a flow going, I can figure out when I can get that stuffed and pieced. Pieced? Is that the right word? Oh goodness, it is Monday, guys. It is Monday. So, okay, that's all I have for today. Really short video, so sorry about that, but that's really all I have. So I am going to go work on some farmer's wife stuff, and I will see you guys Wednesday if you are making the farmer's wife quilt. And if not, I will see you next Monday. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.